Has Taraji P. Henson ever won an Oscar? I wonder if anyone has ever like tallied all of it up, but I wonder the amount of like current black actors versus current white actors who have all won Oscars and stuff like that, and if it's like even or if it's disproportionate in any way. Because Taraji P. Henson is a phenomenal actress. She's been in a lot of very good movies, and she's obviously incredibly talented, and she brings a level of like authenticity to any role that she's ever been in. Like, she's an actress who, whenever I see her in something, she is completely committed to that role. So I am curious, like, if she's won an Oscar, because she definitely deserves it. I don't know about for this movie specifically, because the bar for Tyler Perry movies is a little low for me, in the sense that, like, there tends to be a very specific through line of black trauma, honestly, which, you know, I'm not even necessarily opposed to. I don't think that, like, every time you see black people or people of color on screen, there has to be in this like black excellence or very shallow sort of, oh, like we are more than our trauma, blah blah blah, kind of like fanfare. I think, if that makes sense. I think there's more to people than the trauma, but there's more to people than like this sort of fake, we always have to be happy, we always have to present our best. It's almost like on social media kind of thing where everyone presents their best selves. It's like, well, people are more than their best selves as well. Like, there's more trauma, but there's also more than just this pretend happiness. It isn't real life, essentially.
That's why you're so smart.
The film so far is trying to do its best, obviously, to show just how impoverished and down on her luck Taraji P. Henson's character is, and that's absolutely fine, you know what I mean? Like, it's landed on a bit thick, but regardless of that. One thing I don't like about these types of movies, it will show impoverished people and try to give them dignity, which obviously poor people deserve dignity, duh. But it won't question or analyze the structures in which people live in poverty. You know, like, I already know a bit of like what happens in the movie because I've seen like clips and stuff like that. Taraji P. Henson's character obviously works hard, so she isn't poor because she doesn't work hard or is lazy somehow. So then why is she poor? Like, how did she get here? But these movies never question any of that. It just goes, well, it's all the luck of the draw. And because people can't imagine changing society or a system even in just a little bit so that people like this can have a better life, because her daughter is obviously smart, and despite what happens later on in the movie, because I know a bit about it, at a certain point, just being smart isn't enough. That has to be fostered in a way. She has to go to good schools. She has to be taught how to properly study. She has to be put in a position to flourish her interests. And I promise you, I don't know a whole lot about Georgia, but I doubt a Georgia public school has a robotics program. Maybe there is, but I doubt the one where they live does. So at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, is it Taraji P. Henson's fault? Is it this child's fault for being born in the wrong zip code? Or is something wrong with society?
Did she say that in front of the whole class?
Question the structures, that's all. Also, that was a frustrating scene, because it's like, again, this is a movie, and like, but this is a lot of kids' realities. Like, why does a child have to pay to be fed? Why does society have to be like this?
Right out there on the street. You think
she isn't being given a break. Okay, all right, cool. Landlord's a bitch. So that means housing should be affordable, correct? Taraji P. Henson should live in a space where she can afford housing and not be evicted. Maybe we even go a step further, and this may be radical, but maybe it should even be free. Maybe? Because this reminds me, or brings to mind, that woman, I forget where she was, the Midwest or something like that, but basically a woman was sleeping in her car and 2 of her children died. And it became this big news story, and through that tragic happenstance, she got a home. But there's thousands of mothers, and like, I forget how many homeless people are in America overall, but it's hundreds of thousands of people who have a similar story to that woman. Why not just give them homes? Because if you don't have a home, you can't get a job. You can't get an ID. There's so many hurdles to overcome homelessness. Well, let's just start with giving them a home.
There's always a damn zoo up there the first of the month.
So far, this film seems to just be just a caricature of poverty. Everyone is being portrayed as like these sort of like baser people with no kindness, consideration, like essentially just kind of animals to tell a story kind of thing. It gives no dignity to anyone, essentially. Like, yeah, sure, they're background characters, but it's almost gross how they're like written, kind of. Like, and this is coming from someone who has worked in stores and blah blah blah. White people get food stamps too. Everybody gets food stamps. America is shit. But there's also no shame in getting food stamps. Like, you need assistance. It's okay. I hate that, like, there's this mentality of poor people should constantly have to work hard with no help and just pull themselves up out of the gutter somehow magically, while massive corporations get government funding all the time. Who the fuck cares if a poor person gets a couple $100s to feed themselves? Who gives a fuck?
I'm sorry, ma'am. You can't buy some of these items with a WIC card. Bitch, I do this all the time.
This is gross. Like, obviously, there's shitty black people, there's shitty human beings in general. Being a shit person isn't like a trait distinct to one group of people. But this movie so far has just kind of like portrayed everybody other than Taraji P. Henson's character as like either ghetto, ignorant, malicious. I mean, other than Sinbad's character. But like, I don't know. It's just, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth to portray these people. I think what they're doing is intentional because the movie doesn't want to do the heavy lifting of critiquing the structures in society. So to show that she is having a bad day, it has to be everyone else's fault. She has to deal with shitty, ghetto, ignorant people at her job. She has to deal with a shitty boss. She has to deal with a shitty landlord. It has to be everyone else's fault other than the fact that the government spends billions of dollars on war, but we will never have healthcare or free colleges or better schools or whatever. The fact that like there's just rampant amounts of corruption and no one actually cares because we have an individualistic structure of society that rewards people being greedy bastards. Everything has to be everyone else's fault, which is why Taraji B. Henson's character sucks. I mean, life sucks, you know? It has to be the individuals, not because the government just doesn't give a shit about people.
The doctor says she's gonna outgrow some of the stuff, okay? And then I'll have more time, and then I can go back to nursing school.
Why can't Taraji P. Henson's character afford to go to the hospital for her child? Why is that expensive? Why is it so expensive? Just have her child seen by a doctor. Why is that something she has to worry about? Because she obviously wants to do better. It's so interesting, actually, you know? Like, she wants to go back to nursing school, but she can't. It just, everything sucks, you know what I mean? But there's nothing we can do about it, unfortunately. And you know the ironic part of all of this? Ironic in the sense that, like, it's almost sad. That, like, people will watch this movie. They will take absolutely nothing from it other than, damn, I can completely relate. Okay, but, like, just dig a little deeper. Just, like, a little bit deeper why you can relate. Like, what is happening? Because you work hard. I'm sure you work hard. I'm sure you know a lot of people who work hard. But there's just something missing. Like, there's just one little puzzle piece that's not connecting for the average American that's like, I work hard, I work multiple jobs, and I'm doing the best I can, and I'm living paycheck to paycheck. What is happening? Why is things just not going well for me? And some people go, oh, it has to be, you know, Mexicans and queer people or whatever. Everyone can believe the end of the world before they can believe the end of capitalism. It's just like, it has to be just this one way because of how things are right now. If I just keep working hard, someday I'll also be a capitalist and can boss people around and ruin other people's lives. I hate this movie so much that I like sped it up. It's almost emotional torture, and it's just essentially trauma porn. It's trauma porn without any sort of analysis or anything like that, because ultimately there's actual people who are living lives like this, and those people's lives aren't made better with this movie. It's not bringing attention to it. It's not showing that like there's better on the other side. It's not offering them anything other than like a mirror to stare back at themselves and go like, damn, my life is kind of shit, huh?
You didn't know I was a cop, did you?
I need your license and registration.
So I've seen this scene before, and 15 minutes into the movie, I am emotionally drained, and I don't really want to finish it. Taraji P. Henson is honestly carrying the story because she is a phenomenal actress, but like, not only is it just, it's hollow. It's a very hollow movie. But I've seen this scene before, and you know, this guy runs her off the road and is a massive dick, and is a cop, ends up being a cop, and even like threatens to kill her at one point in the movie. And again, there's no critique of structures, you know, because like, you still have at the end of the scene the woman, the female cop right here, try to sort of mitigate it. Like, he threatens her in front of this woman cop. All this woman cop does is tell him to cool down. So what is the point of this scene? Like, in every movie, even in TV shows, there has to be a point. Like, what is the point in what you are doing? You are trying to convey something, you're trying to tell a message, and if it's a good story, if it's a good movie, and if a writer does a good job and a director conveys it properly, they will tell you something in such a subtle way, you will think you came to that conclusion on your own. This movie is, in the 15 minutes that I've seen so far, absolutely hollow because it doesn't convey anything. It's not saying anything. Like, whatever messaging it's trying to say just isn't coming across for whatever reason. You know, it's not trying to say like, oh, like these people have bad days and they struggle and blah blah blah. Well, sure, they're showing that with Taraji P. Henson, but everybody else around Taraji P. Henson who are also probably just struggling. And sure, even the people who like, people can be assholes, but who's to say that the people in the grocery store who, because they don't have access to therapy, never learn to emotionally regulate, or just have generational trauma, who's to say that they're also not having an equally, if not worse day than Taraji P. Henson so far? And that's why they're an asshole. I'm not saying that to justify anything that people do and when they take things out on other people, but the objective of the movie is to give poor people dignity. It's only giving dignity to Taraji P. Henson simply because we can relate to her as an individual who is having a progressively terrible and worse day. But as far as like the cop scene goes, it's just doing this tired ass one bad apple argument. But people never finish that old saying. One bad apple spoils the bunch. Meaning, if one apple is bad, they're all bad. It is very American to just have these like empty sort of sayings that have completely been stripped of any of their meaning. Because originally, pull yourself up by your bootstraps was meant to be this thing that is considered impossible. Like, you obviously can't do that. And yet it is just used as this sort of like motivational statement mantra thing that we're all supposed to try to attain somehow. The meaning behind a lot of these are completely neutered, the same way the messaging this movie is trying to convey is neutered. This scene doesn't say anything about policing. It's just kind of like, oh, this is just one more part of her bad day. This entire movie is essentially just going, oh, there's only bad actors, it's not a bad system. Like, there's nothing wrong with policing, there's just one bad dude who's a dick and can legally kill you and face absolutely no reprimand. Having for-profit housing isn't bad or anything like that. It just sucks because like, you have a shitty landlord who doesn't care about the tenants and only cares about, you know, making sure she gets hers. You know, it's absolutely okay. It's okay that like, you have medical bankruptcy, you know, like there's no other option, so you just have medical bankruptcy. It's absolutely okay. This movie says a whole lot and absolutely nothing at the exact same time, and it is exhausting and frustrating. And again, I almost just don't want to finish the movie.
You're too hot. Head back to the station.
Hey, get out of here. Even though you're a cop who just threatened to kill a civilian simply because you were driving recklessly and hit her car. What's the message here? Just one bad cop. That cop sure is an asshole. What examinations of structures are you doing? Just trauma porn. All right, cool.
Easy on you. He won't. You want me to call him back here?
Why would you threaten her like that? If you're a good cop, why would you threaten her like that? The man who just threatened to blow her brains out. You're the good cop? What is the messaging here? What is this scene trying to convey? It's everybody else's fault, not the system. What could have prevented her being evicted? She just wasn't working hard enough, I think. She needs 4 jobs. If she can't afford to pay her rent, she should have worked 4 jobs, I think. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and everybody like that, every minute, they work harder than the average person. That's why they're our kings. They're better than us. We should look at them as great leaders that they are, because they work so much harder than the average person. Taraji P. Henson's character works 2 jobs. Elon Musk, well, he wears multiple hats. Honestly, most satisfying death the entire movie. I think that's going to keep me going for the next couple minutes to not just turn this entire movie off. So she just killed a man. I think it is also important to note that they really show that like there was all this cash laying there, probably not enough to like change her life or anything like that, but you know, at least enough to help her get by for some time, at least a couple months. All she wanted, all she needed was her check. That's all she wanted. She just wants her check. She just wants what she's owed. And that's the thing with a lot of people who support capitalism but don't own a factory. They think that everyone wants to be a millionaire, like wants to be Jeff Bezos. And I think even people sort of gaslight themselves in a lot of ways into thinking that they all want to be billionaires or millionaires or whatever. I think the average person, and this might be a hot take, simply just wants to survive. They just want a way to exist and have some sort of creature comfort, whatever. A lot of people would be simply happy as long as they have a roof over their head, are able to cook themselves a warm meal, and have a beer with friends. The vast majority of people would be completely comfortable with that. She just wants her check. That's all she ever wanted, and all she ever, she's having a bad day, but like she is still moral. I don't think I want to finish this movie. I'm like bored. Not enough people are getting shot. I think I'm good. I mean, if this is your thing, all power to you. It's not mine, so I'm not having a good time watching it. And life is too short for me to force myself to watch it. I could watch a movie I actually want to watch. So yeah, it's not my thing. Like, not every movie needs to be a big think piece or have some deeper commentary about like socio-economics, and that's absolutely fine. I like those movies all the same too. I love me a good stoner comedy. It's just hard to take this seriously or even want to finish this, really. I know a couple people who like this movie, and that's okay. That's their thing. It's not my thing. I'm not shitting on anybody who likes it. 30 minutes in, it ain't for me. It ain't for me, big dog. And I ain't gonna force myself to finish. I hope you enjoyed whatever commentary I left in the video. I hope it was mildly entertaining or enlightening in some way. I never know how to end these, so peace.